Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video I'm going to take you guys upstairs into my attic so you can see my Pokemon hoarding, I guess you could say. And I do apologize for any quality. I'm using my camera. It does have a little bit of a flash on it, but when we get into some of these areas, it will be dark. This isn't anything that's downstairs. This is just stuff that I've carried up this tiny ladder. Alright, so I'm going to try to cover everything in a circular motion, so we'll just start right here. So the first thing that you're looking at here, these are Trick or Trade cases. These are from 2023. This might look like a lot, but I had a whole lot more than this. I broke down a lot. I've sold several. I want to say it probably come out to about right here, and it was that high. So I've probably sold 30 or 40 cases, and I still have a lot of cases. They were so cheap. I bought as many as I could at the time, and then they still had more, so I ran out of room and moved on. But if you look at it, 12 per carton, each one has 600 packs, so 600 times however many boxes a year. There's a lot of Trick or Trade packs. Next up, moving back in time, Burger King. Look at that. There's the Charizard, there's the Jigglypuff, 100 count, 2 of 3. It says out of 3 because there were 6 total. 6 times 2, or 3 times 2 would give you the 6. But yeah, I got this off of Z&G, I want to say for like 800 bucks. It's been a while, but I haven't opened it yet. PSA does grade these now, and so I think it'd be kind of cool to have all of these gold Charizards and Jigglypuffs that are untouched graded, because I mean, I would think they'd have a good shot at getting a 10 if any of them do. But I haven't had the heart to break open the seal yet. Unfortunately, I am an investor. You're going to find that out in this video, but at the same time, I'm a collector, and that causes problems when I try to figure out whether or not I want to sell stuff. I didn't think I had anything over here, but got some Bear Walker, Charizard, skateboards there. Back here, we have some Yu-Gi-Oh! Most of this is 25th anniversary, and in the back side over there, that is Ghosts from the Past. I would say the majority are going to be LOB, Metal Raiders. There's going to be more LOB than anything else. I like that set. I like being able to open up some of the exact reprints of the old product for really cheap. Now what we have here, Charizard UPCs, and so this would be a case. There's 2 missing, but 4 come to a case, and so like these big boxes, there are 3 cases in each. So each one of these that you see is going to have 12 of the Charizard UPCs in it. And there's several back there. Some are just like the regular cases. And like starting right here, you're looking at probably some Japanese product. Let's kind of see how far back it goes. It's not too far, but it's nice and crunched up here. All right, so right here we have, looks like 2 Terrestrial Festival cases. A key is the guy that I bought off of. There's the date, and there's the amount that I paid. And so these are sealed cases from trusted sources. But even trusted sources, you know, at times can be fooled by people that they buy from. But yeah, I have the names that go with them just in case there's ever any issues with the products. But so far I haven't had any issues from a key. Or there's a few other people too that I buy off of. Looking back through here, there's some other cool stuff. Like back there, you can see it's VMAX, Climax. Got to get my finger out of there so you guys can see. I think I got this from Charlie. Maybe some Dark Phantasma there. Pokemon Go. I don't know, Cyber Judge, Wild Force. Typically, I like to keep cases because I think that does better for value long term, but I do have sealed boxes as well, just loose boxes. So like here's Cyber Judge. Got these when they were super cheap. I want to say that they were actually, I might have paid upwards of $50 for these right at release, and then they dropped down to like 25, 30 bucks, something like that. But I've got a lot of 151. You see like this one right here, Retro Specs. If you guys haven't bought from him, he is highly trusted. 151 case, bought it in November of last year, 900 per case. I mean, that'd be a killer price now, but you could look at something like, you know, Glory of Team Rocket Retro Specs, 1162 a case. You know, that's not as good, you know. And then there's other times where I've even bought boxes, I think loose boxes for Glory of Team Rocket for like 130 bucks or something like that. So not everything up here is a W, but most of these items that I invest in, I like them because like 151 to me is a great set to have, especially when they were like 50 bucks per box. Man, I was buying as much of that as I could. Got Shiny Treasure. I don't always have the price displayed here, but I want to say that a lot of the Shiny Treasure was bought between $35 and $50 a box, which is a pretty decent deal now. Running through here, it's not all Japanese, but a lot of it is. Like these are boxes of Vstar Universe. You can see there's 30 boxes there. There's another 50. Got 32 here, 32. Oh yeah, there's the Glory of Team Rocket, 133 a box. So I mean, I am upside down, you know, in that, but it doesn't, you know, compared to all of the other things that, you know, I bought. Usually I'm doing okay. And I'm talking about a lot of these prices because this isn't all for my personal collection. Like I want it to be. I am a hoarder, I'll admit it, but at the same time, I realize that when the price gets to a certain point, you know, I'll move some of this stuff. I can collect these things without having so much of the product. But a lot of times, like with product like this, I mean, I was buying it when nobody wanted it. So I would buy it when nobody wants it, and then I'll set it back, and I like to slow sell. And so that's something that you got to do if you're buying and selling in Pokemon constantly, because if you're only buying and you're never selling, you're going to get yourself into trouble. As you can kind of see up here, as I've gotten myself into trouble with space a little bit. But back here we have the trading card game classic. I've got, you know, a couple rows of them things, and it goes down the wall there a decent ways. I think they're pretty underrated, but the problem is, you know, they're giant. Like this is one trading card game classic, just one. So I mean, I've got more boxes probably here of Vstar Universe than I do all together of the trading card game classic. I mean, it's just, they're so spacious. Like I think that's the main problem for that. More boxes, got 151, 151. I bought a lot of 151. All of these, I mean, they're 151. You can see about how many boxes fit in each. So these are only 25, so maybe these were more well packaged. I kept them in their original boxes because, you know, if I go to sell them, maybe I want to sell them, you know, as they are and just not have to package as much out. You know, that might be nice. Shiny treasures. Now we're getting into some English stuff over here. So what you're looking at here, we've got Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes, and these are cases. So inside of here, you're gonna have 10 Hidden Fates Elite Trainers, and I believe behind that is back there, that might be Pokemon Go. You guys may recognize these black corners. That's actually a Japanese trading card game classic. I've only got maybe 12 of those, but again, you see how much space it'll take up. I mean, that's just 4 of them right there. But yeah, so I've got some Pokemon Go Elite Trainer cases, and then we got Hidden Fates Elite Trainer cases right here. Now, what I have the most of is going to be Celebrations. This is actually 2 rows deep, so like you can see you got one here, one there, and it kind of goes back. Now you might be wondering, what are these yellow tags? If you were around in the beginning, these were first print. These are the ones that come out with the wave during the first wave. And then there were several reprints. People didn't want these things for the longest time. Don't get me wrong, Celebration has never been like way down in the dumps, but you could get as many of these as you wanted from distribution if you're willing to pay a few extra dollars after each release. And there were times where you could reorder them. So Celebration was one of those sets that they just put out so much of it at a hard time that it really wasn't hard to obtain. And I really liked the set, so this was one of the first sets that I started building my wall with and setting back. If you guys used to watch my old streams, you might recognize this right here. Like, this is the wall of Celebrations. It's not that big of a wall. I mean, it's just a few shelves, but everything that's in here is, it's all sealed packs of Celebrations. And I personally pulled these, or somebody, you know, like my mom maybe broke it down from products. I remember there was a Pikachu V Union. Nobody wanted those collection boxes, and so they're like, hey, if you'll take a pallet, we'll give it to you for this price. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it, but I don't have space up here for a pallet of collection boxes, so I had to break all of them down, and that's what, you know, that's what happened. Broke them all down, and, you know, turned them into just these little boxes, you know, where I store the packs, and I can know for sure that they are legitimate because they come from product that I got directly from distribution. You have stuff like this. You got Shining Fates Elite Trainers. I don't have as many of these. Like, this is pretty much all that I have. Probably one of the lowest amounts, unless that's what's back there. I think it's Pokemon Go, but I've got a record. I actually do have records of these things in places. You know, I didn't. What was in here? Okay, so there's that's 151 booster bundles. Anytime I can, I try to set back 151 product. I really don't like selling it because I think it's such a good set. Here you can see the 151 Ultra Premium Collection boxes, and these are in cases. So like these will have 4 in each, and then you've got stuff like this where you got the Prismatic Evolution Special Super Premium Collection. Very similar product, but so in here would be 3 cases similar to the Charizard UPCs. You have 12 in each, and then those are probably like a booster bundle. And then they're all just kind of like stacked on top of the UPCs. I try to keep 200 UPCs, but you can see how like it takes up just a huge amount of room. Like I almost have to like zoom out here just to be able to, so you guys can get a better idea of how much it is. But like this is all the head space that I have. My head is hitting the ceiling over here behind it. And so anytime I bought these things, I had to break them down, which is unfortunate because we all know that there's so much more value in stuff like this where you can keep them sealed. So looking at this right here, this is one of the first public plays I think I had made. Hopefully it doesn't turn it super grainy by zooming out. But this is like the Celebrations UPCs. If you guys remember, I'd said that I was buying them at a certain price until I get 100 of them, and then I would stop buying, and then I might start buying again at 500. Well, I'm pretty much done buying, but I do have, I believe, 100 up here. They're not all in the cases, which I think the cases hold a premium. Several are loose, as you can see. Do have some like collector chests over there. And then we get into the Elite Trainers for the other specialty sets. You know, we've got the Celebrations and Hidden Fates over there. But I think I started with this one, Crown Zenith. I started setting back 20 cases for each specialty set. These aren't Pokemon Center or anything like that. This is just product I would get from distribution, and then I would set it back. And the main reason, I know it might sound crazy, you know, looking back through here, you're going to see these are cases of booster boxes. You got Scarlet and Violet starting there, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, and so forth. The whole reason for me starting these stacks right here was because when I bought them through distribution, I couldn't make any money. Like nobody wanted these sets. I mean, you could buy them through distribution right at release for like 90 bucks or something like that a case. And then shortly after, they'd be throwing up sales for 80 bucks, you know, or 80 bucks per box, not per case. So it was like 90 bucks per box on a case. And then it'd be down to like 80 bucks. And then if you went on the eBay, you'd see these things being sold for like $80, $90, maybe 100 if you're lucky. And it's like after you take out shipping and the fees, you're losing money. So I was like, you know, I believe these are nice. So I would buy them, I would set them back, and then I just wouldn't sell. Like I just couldn't do it. I wasn't going to work and take on buyer risk just to lose money. And so I started doing the same thing with Elite Trainers because they don't have, for the specialty sets, they don't have booster boxes. So I would set back the UPCs or special premium collection, like in case of Prismatic, because they were like the highest you could get. But Elite Trainers were much more relatable, so I would set back 20 cases of Elite Trainers. And so I did that, and you can see like over here, I think these might be White Flare, Black Bolt, something like that. You can see more of the Prismatic and some of this other stuff. My kids like to come up here every now and then and just relax. This is bubble wrap. I have lots of bubble wrap. All right, moving on here, you got 3.5, so you've got, you know, 151 right here. And then you've got, you know, 4.5. What is that? Shining Fates, maybe. 6.5. That might be Shrouded Fable. And then I didn't even take these out of the original case. So you see White Flare. It even shows the invoice for what I paid. And you're going back through here, you still have more cases. This short stack right here, this is Twilight Masquerade. I have the least amount of cases for that set than any other. Once I get to 20 cases, I'm trying to shut off sales until I can figure out what I want to do and try to match up every box from a specific generation. But this one right here, I accidentally restocked, and before I could remove it, somebody bought a case. So somebody picked up a case for $2,000, and this was just a few days ago. But yeah, so people are still super hungry for cases, booster boxes, Elite Trainers, all kinds of stuff. You can see right here we have, what is this, Black Bolt. That's White Flare. I actually don't have 20 cases each of this because they split the set into 2 full sets, but on the same release. I got the same amount that I would typically get for a single release, and so I did not get the full 20 cases that I would want normally to set back. And then we have random stuff in here. You got like poster collections. There's poster collections, tech stickers. I thought those looked really nice. And like this one right here, I set back. You had the Team Rocket Mewtwo. So this box right here, I don't know if you noticed, but like the seal, it's like a water tape, which you don't typically see. Typically you just see, you got like this standard stop tape. So I thought it looked cool. It was like bringing out extra color to the red, kind of thick, you know, kind of match the red from the R, in which I realize this is red too, but it's on the white versus the brown. I don't know. It just seemed to be fitting for Team Rocket Mewtwo. Crazy enough, I had a palette of this, and there was a couple other releases together, so it wasn't like just a pallet of this particular tin, but these were the only 3 that I could pull off of the pallet that were not damaged from where like the people who packaged it, the freight company like busted the pallet, and then they like put tape directly on the cases, and that annoys me because a lot of time when you go to pull that tape off, it rips, you know, this piece or that, and even this one right here. I mean, it's not in the best of shape, but these were the best 3. Really the only 3 that I could salvage from the entire pallet. And now, you know, you've pretty much seen most everything that I got going on up here. More bubble wrap, but over here I do have a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh. I try to, if I go to open up Yu-Gi-Oh to have fun, I try to bust these since they're already out of case. But check this out. These are from Pokemon Center. These are some of the last Battle Styles cases that you could buy from there, and man, they do not ship well. So if you order 6 Battle Styles booster boxes from their website, this is how they ship it. They literally slap a label on the case, and then they send it through the mail like this. As you can see, they're all like busted or dented, and it's kind of cool too because it looks like this is like the first release. It's like first print, so you could tell, I guess maybe they've been sitting on it for a while. And yeah, I picked up, I think maybe like 10 cases or so from Pokemon Center that way. I think a lot of people did, and that's why this is one of the last holdouts from Sword and Shield that really has the same kind of pricing as some of the cheapest boxes out there from Scarlet and Violet. And then over here we have Pokemon Go. You guys may not recognize this because this is like something that was stored in a warehouse. Pokemon Go come out at such a bad time. You got to think, Pokemon 151 Charizard UPCs over there. They couldn't sell them things. Like, they were everywhere. Same thing with the 151 Ultra Premium collections. They were so cheap. I mean, nobody wanted it. I mean, you got to think all the way up until Surging Sparks, which is way down there. Surging Sparks you could actually get for $100 through Football Pete on eBay right at the early pre-orders. They did quickly increase in price, but really the only set you could make money off of was Twilight Masquerade right at release. Surging Sparks you could, but Stellar Crown was such a bad set, like I'd even sell it at release. But all these prior sets, I mean, Scarlet and Violet was such a slump, and there was so much available. Pokemon Go was just one of those sets where it was small, and it just got printed into the ground. These were made available to me through a guy who I guess had contacts with a warehouse, but you could buy these right here, roughly $2 a pack. There's 750 packs in each one of these. So it's like a master carton of just like wholesale. You can see right here, turning it sideways, Pokemon Go, 750 per carton. That's a lot of packs. But if you bought enough off of the guy who had access to them, and I think he was actually doubling his money, you would pay roughly $2 a pack, and you can see how many of those that I picked up. Bought 2 rounds of them, and then I was like, dude, I'm running out of room. I can't do anything with them. You can see there's some stacked over there, and I've opened several myself. So he sold to several people. I believe people have ran out, and now, you know, Pokemon goes like $7, $8 a pack or something like that. I'm not fully too sure on the exact pricing, but I think the last time I looked on TCG Player, it was around there. I do have some Sword and Shield up here. You can see there's more of those battle styles. You got Vivid Voltage, battle styles again, Chilling Reign. Here's Evolving Skies. This is like second print, and then I do have one from the first printing right there. Got Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, and Silver Tempest. So I don't have a ton of the Sword and Shield era, but I do have some, and I'm sure these will move in time, especially as price increases. My heart is more with the vintage stuff, but as you can see, I do store quite a bit of modern, and most of this, like I said, come out of the fact that there was a lull, a time when you could buy Pokemon for so cheap because nobody wanted it, and you just knew that it was going to go up in price in time, especially 151. When the reprint hit and those boxes went down to $50, it was like, this has to be a good deal. Like, people knew that it was going to go back up, but there was just so much available on the market. You know, you had time. You could buy into it. Same thing with the Charizard UPCs, the 151 UPCs, and even some of these boxes here. Pretty much that's it. You guys can see that I do have some MetaZoo back there. I've got uncut sheets here. I am kind of dwindling those down, but I do have quite a few. I mean, there's probably 50 or so sheets still here in the stack. Some of them mean a lot to me, like this Yu-Gi-Oh! First Edition LOB Ultra Rare uncut sheet. That'd be something that I'll probably, you know, keep as long as I can. There's other cool sheets in here. Who knows what I'll have. There's like a Pikachu with the gold W stamp. You can see it right there. I think I've actually got 2 of those. There's another angle of like the sets. If that right there is Twilight Masquerade, so Stellar, Surging Sparks, Journey Together, Destined Rivals, and then Mega Evolution will go on the other side of that. So that's all I have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed my little tour up here in the attic where you can't even stand up. But I do have a hoarding problem. I try to sell as much as I can to at least make this sound like a business. But there are times when I just want to keep all the really cool stuff to myself. But I know that's not how business works. So I am showing you guys this stuff. It will be moved here very shortly. I wanted to video this before it does get moved, but I mean, who knows? It might stay right here. I don't know. It's a lot to carry up and down this right here. A lot of it hardly fits in between these this space right here. So it's less than 2 feet, and you can see the ladder right there. So it's a lot of leg workout, and maybe this is what keeps me in shape while I sit at a table all day. Thanks guys for watching.